Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today. It's nice to see you and have you back again. Today I'm going to talk to you about something I've been thinking about for quite some time now. Wondering if possibly some of you have also. It mainly deals with subsidized senior housing, as well as that includes handicapped people who are also living in those communities. And even you younger people out there, you might want to step in and listen to this a little bit if you're looking for a place for your mom, your dad, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. I just want to give you a little information on it. Subsidized senior housing, subsidized being the key word here, is where you pay a certain percentage. Usually it's about 30% of your income. So you seniors on a low income, it gives you a chance to have an apartment of your own, be safe, be warm. Good programs, just there is not enough right now. I have found that there are waiting lists in some places from 2 to 5 years. I've heard of it being even as much as 7 years, which seems awfully long period of time. The reason I'm mentioning that is because if you're sitting there thinking, gee, I think it's time to downsize. I'm tired of paying mortgage and taxes. It's too much. I can't do it anymore. Prices are sky high. You're going to go into subsidized senior housing. Well, it sounds good. It is good if you can get in. The thing is, with those waiting lists of 2 to 5 years, it doesn't happen, obviously, overnight. I myself think anyone that's possibly thinking about doing that might want to entertain putting in applications, several applications, if there's more than one place you're interested in. Put them in ahead. Doesn't mean you have to accept the offer if they do call you before you're ready to go, or you might change your mind and say, gee, it's a chance to get in, I'll go now. So that's something to think about, all of you looking, whether you're looking for yourself or for someone else. I know I have seen so many comments where people will say, I'm looking for a place for my mom, but everything has long waiting lists. Well, they do in those particular places. The other thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned, don't confuse low-income housing as a place where mom, dad, grandma, grandpa might go. And maybe they will go there. Maybe it depends on what their Social Security amount is, and maybe they have a savings. That's a different thing. But what low-income housing is that it is low income. Low income according to what the median rate is in the area that the complex is in. So if general rents are, I'm just giving examples here, not stating that this is the way the amounts they are. But if they are, say, $1,500 a month, which I guess is a little low these days, they might be renting for $1,200, and that's low income to them. So be careful about that. Don't fool yourself thinking you're going to get in. Now, some of those complexes do offer 3-4 apartments at lower costs, down to maybe around 25 or 30% of your gross income. For the subsidized housing senior units, I believe, and I'm not sure about this totally, in gold here, I'm not making the statement, but I believe you cannot make more than $21,000 a year. Now, you can have assets, certain ones. That's something you'd have to discuss with the complex you're at. And assets couldn't be a savings account, but of course, remember that the interest on that saving account counts towards your income. So that would push up your Social Security. Not the amount of it, but the income of everything combined. It's getting harder and harder. Seniors are a growing population at this time. And my question is, where are we all going to go? As well as you've got a lot of handicapped people. They are being housed in the senior housing. If they're over 18, they qualify to get in too. So, I mean, they need a place to live, and we don't have enough housing for that either. So you're finding a lot of handicapped people living in senior housing now. And I get it. They need a place to live, certainly. But I'm just using that as a fact of why we're running out of housing for people. So where are we going to live? Now, I've heard some people say, oh, I'll just live in my car. Well, I guess that's one way, but I'm not sure it's the best way. It might be best for you, though. Who knows? Everybody's different. But I would ask myself, do I know what type of things I need in the car, how to hook them up so they have heat in there, so that I can stay warm. And if I think I'm going to travel, that's a lot of gas. What kind of mileage do I get? Gasoline can become what I call the rent on the road. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I love it out here. The freedom is wonderful. And I'm sure it is. And if that's for you, then I guess you're happy doing that. I think I would be too if I could. But not honestly, in my thoughts, the best solution to this. Do I have a solution? No, I don't. I wish I did. If any of you out there have some thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them. So I encourage you, put in applications at different places. If you want to know where you can find those places in your area, just Google subsidized senior housing in, I don't know, let's say Phoenix, Arizona or something. Wherever the area is you're thinking you'd like to go, or like to have mom and dad come live near you. And it'll pop up a small list of places. You can check with them, check with their waiting list times. There's so much to this. It's a lot to think about. If you're in an area where you can drive by a complex you want to see, that's a more natural way to be able to see how they're maintaining it. Are they keeping it up? There's a lot of things to think about. I know one thing that strikes my mind, and something that you don't think about when you're getting into them. Most of the older units do not have, of course, in apartment washer and dryer, and they don't allow you to put in one. They have a separate room that you can walk to do your laundry. Well, okay, at 62, that might be okay. But at 82, that might not be too feasible for you, or getting not to be feasible for you. So those are things you got to think about. How am I gonna do that? Am I gonna require some extra help, or what's gonna happen there? Am I living in an area where, if it comes to that, I can get groceries delivered? Mail. is my mailbox outside, right outside where I'm living, or do I have to walk to a community building to get it? Again, when you get up into that age bracket, those things mean a lot. And they may not to you youngsters out there listening to me talk about this, but if you put yourself in mom's shoes or dad's shoes, whatever, and kind of think about that a little bit. How hard is that going to be for them to manage? There's so many things to think about, and having been in a couple senior housing places, I sure learned quick the ins and outs. What else do I want to talk about with regard to that? I'm mainly focusing on the subsidized senior housing. There's so many other things. One other thing that I hear so many people say is, oh, they're going to build low-income housing in my town. I won't have to worry. Don't be so sure. Low-income housing is going to be low-income housing because maybe rent in that area is medium is $1,500 a month, which I'd like to know where there is that one at this time of these times. But let's go with the 1,500. Okay, so they're going to lower the rent, and you'll only pay $1,200 a month, but you're not paying 30% of it like you would in senior housing. So don't get too fooled by that. Some of those places do have 3 or 4 apartments set aside for that percent, 30, 25%. Depends on the program they're on also. All these programs have little differences in them, and you need to know what those are to make sure it's going to fit your needs. I'm thinking I'm going to do a second video on this, part 2. Who knows, maybe even part 3. This is such a long list of items to think about with regard to senior housing. I think I certainly could fill up at least another video with regard to some other types. And that's going to be it for today. Let me know your feelings on this. What are you thinking? If you don't want to leave comments, you can always email me. I know some people don't like to print in the comments for the public, but you can always email me and know that I'm not going anywhere with it, that your email is safe with me as far as that part goes. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up or not. Share the video. Maybe you know somebody who would like this information and benefit from it. And please hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. I really appreciate it if you could do that. It'll let you know, notify you when other videos that I post are up. It's not an intrusive thing. You just get a little notification. That wandering spirit's back on the line there again. Take care now. Thank you again. I appreciate so much your visiting the channel. And please have a good rest of the day. Be safe and sound. And above all, be kind. Bye-bye now.